When it comes to implementing revenue generating systems, sometimes it can be a complicated process. Fortunately, all businesses don't require complex systems or updates. In this video, I'm going to share the top systems and tools that allowed a client to save almost $10,000 annually without adding a team member. These key systems we're talking about are revenue generating systems. First up, the automated lead funnel. Before we got started, the client was in a place where they are a coach. They hosted a lot of workshops. They spoke at other people's events, and they used that as their lead generation system. Now, the live speaking events wasn't really automated. You couldn't really automate that, but you could automate some kind of way to get them onto your list, which she did not do. She was kind of sporadic with just collecting people's names that asked if they wanted to book a call. She didn't have anything automated in place. So what we did was map out her client journey and start with one of her items that's in her library, a digital item that was quite popular in her library. Set that up as her lead magnet to capture new contacts. During her talks, we set up a automated system that offered people those that document or that series of videos, and the process is fully automated. We start with her landing page that isn't broken down into 4 sections. At the end of the delivery is the item that she's given them. It comes with the invite, the training, and the process where they sign up, the sign up page, they're tagged and sent to a list. Now, automations are a key tool that we use to help businesses streamline all of their processes. One thing we see a lot of times is that solopreneurs in general don't have a lot of processes. They're kind of working off the cuff or on the fly. They don't have any dedicated systems. So that's one of the first things we do, walk through and assess what systems they have or don't have, map out the client journey, and start to figure out what systems we're going to start with first. As I said before, key revenue generating systems are the automated lead funnel, client management system, and a way to leverage growth using the program delivery that is automated. The lead magnet system, we started with capturing contacts. For example, she would go to someone else's event, present as a speaker. She would lead them to the digital document we created, a landing page to send people to, and they signed up for that item. And then we had a nurturing email onboarding sequence. From there, they were either invited into her membership, which was another core item she wanted to do. So moving on to the next item was client management. She started in a couple of different places. The client went from manual with a spreadsheet, kind of documenting leads as they progress through her process, to an elaborate system, a tool called Dubsado. There was a steep learning curve for that one, but the client thought, hey, I'll figure this out myself. It was a steep learning curve. She didn't have time. She was busy dealing with clients, so she wasn't able to train her assistant or manage it herself, so they didn't use it. They fell back to the manual system, which was definitely leaving money on the table. By creating a client management system that flowed from her ecosystem, which was her business ecosystem, revolved around Google Workspace. Most of her things, she ran the business through that. She was just kind of cobbling tools together. She had quite a few different tools that she cobbled together. As we went through each section, we automated her lead funnel. Client management, we pulled back from several of the tools she had, because she had Dubsado and she had another tool that connected to that, to have another tool connected to that. We pulled back from that and in place added high level, which, while it has a steep learning curve as well, encompasses more of the other tools. We were able to take her away from quite a few other tools she was using or not using, just had subscriptions to, and place all of those different capabilities were inside of high level. So we were able to set those up for her. And the system of handling the client journey and nurturing them, moving prospects from leads from prospect to paying client and beyond was able to be done in one tool versus the several 5 to 6 different tools she had kind of working together. And the automation tasks that are capable in high level, it took so many of the steps that she was doing, quite honestly, manually, and compile them into streamlined, automated workflows. Simple things that she was just recreating individually, like a welcome packet or tracking the client's progress. We were able to just link her task management tool that she was using to high level and have her be able to have tasks flowing to the tool, and she see what she needs to see, her clients, her prospects, everything is at one glance versus having to log into all these several tools and keep up with updating them constantly. That was one of the things that was holding her back and her team, is that they were constantly behind the 8 ball trying to keep these tools updated. This tool, once we set it up, everything client-based in one place. So everything can be monitored, streamlined. Most important, all of the client experiences were consistent and professional. No clients fell through the cracks. So many times at the beginning when she was doing manual, clients would fall through the cracks. She would realize she didn't onboard someone. She had to follow up with clients who were missing booked calls. And having the next system is a scalable or a system that can grow with you for program delivery. Deliverables are key. And sometimes we just assume we know, because that's our business, how we're going to handle deliverables until it gets to the point where we're doing more than one or a couple of people. This client started out, she was doing pretty much one-on-ones. She had a few here and there. She had some presentations, and then she would get clients that way. But she wanted to grow to one-to-many, and she also wanted to leverage her capabilities so that she could have a membership. Where she started it wasn't really possible, especially when she worked full-time. And she was building the business part-time and on the weekends. It wasn't really possible. She was constantly scrambling. She didn't see how that was going to work. When we came together, we looked at her assets, what her plan was for growing the business, where she wanted to take the client base that she had and grow a new client base. And she had quite a few resources that would absolutely make it super easy to build a membership. And from there, high level, we used that tool, high level. She had previously been using her Google Workspace. She's had that a number of years. She was familiar with it. So she would store videos in her Google Drive, her documents, some of her lead magnet items, lead generation items. The problem was she also stored them in Vimeo. She also stored stuff in YouTube. She had stuff over in Dropbox. So we were able to pull all of the assets off of those sources and put them in one place, because absolutely you can do that with high level. We built out her library there. We were able to contain made her memberships. We also made her community. She had been doing things in some other tools, and it was fine, but this was all contained in one area, and it made it less work for her to maintain and easier. She had already started looking to hire someone else because she was getting more clients, but she wasn't able to manage them still working full time. She thought she needed another team member. That was not necessary once we put in place the automations, the systems, the automations, and some clear processes for what offer she was going to have. She decided she wanted the membership. She was going to only do the one-on-one at a VIP level, and additionally have a group coaching program. So she had enough assets to actually put together all of those. So we were able to do her membership and her digital products and her programs, all of these things being hosted pretty much with the tools she had. When it came to deliverables, we were able to set up her membership, put in her digital products there. And even for the coaching program, she had teaching PDFs, templates, worksheets that we could upload into high level in her membership area as products, digital products, but still have the calls that were part of her coaching program live there as well. Where they had been, just recorded Google Meet calls, she still could do that, but they could live all in one place where the membership was. So if someone got a digital product, they could be a part of a community that showed the other things. She could showcase yes, I have a membership, but if you're looking for something bigger, I also have these other items available. And she had a community that allowed people to see all of those items that were available. So those three systems, automated lead funnel, client management and nurturing, and leveraged program delivery, made a difference from moving from manual to streamlined, automated processes. And how do we do that? We did those things with some of my favorite tools. First, of course, we created systems. She started out with very few systems. As a lot of the solopreneurs I run into, they start out with very few documented systems. And a system is simply a documented process. When we have all these things that we do recurring, a simple checklist, mini video, demo system set, documenting whatever the process is, makes it a system. It doesn't have to be rocket science. It does not have to be a big manufacturing process. It could just be as simple as a checklist. The fact is, anybody should be able to walk in and do that thing by just following some instructions you have documented in your, whether it's in a folder, whether it's in your Trello board or your ClickUp document, to be able to go through your business and look at those systems. Me and my assistant ended up building out those systems by going through all the different things she went through every day or weekly, walking through those tasks. And it was a simple process by just having her walk through it with us. We recorded it and turned it into checklists or made many videos for some of it. You don't have to complicate building out systems. So many people are intimidated by that because they think it's a complicated process. It doesn't have to be. So the first system, we built out the systems, and the first one we built out was a scheduler because, again, she was a speaker. She was presenting at other people's workshops and presentations, and she had podcast interviews, and she had her own workshops. So she could invite people using a scheduler. She was paying for Calendly and trying to cook up some of the workflows. Well, inside her Google Workspace lives a scheduler. And not only does it live and she doesn't pay extra for it, it's integrated already into the other tools that she's already using. So we set that up based on her same availability from the Calendly and moved it into the Google Workspace scheduler. And it already works with Calendar and Gmail. And you can set all the same things you can do in Calendly or Acuity, different availability, different meeting types, share a single link. Now you can even link your Stripe if you want to have paid appointments. But I don't believe a couple of years ago you can do that. And share one link. You can use that same link. So she can be at a workshop and share that link for people that want to book calls with her. And it can be on her website in different places. It shares the time zones, everything. So first, we looked through her business ecosystem, which was Google Workspace, and pulled the tools she would be using in the business from there. Now, she wasn't currently using most of these tools that exist inside of Google Workspace. So many tools are there that people don't even really realize are there. They usually kind of just do Google Drive, Gmail, and the calendar. There are other tools. We helped her understand the other tools she could use to keep it simple, and even have tools that her assistant could use as well to help support her. The next tool was High Level. Now, she had a couple of different complicated tools. She started manually with a spreadsheet for her client management and lead management. She started with a spreadsheet, she moved to HubSpot, then she moved to another tool and another, and each tool got more complicated, so there's less chance of her using it. So she ended up back at the Excel spreadsheet. Well, that wasn't something that kind of moved with her. She had to constantly be in it. She would fall behind, leads would fall between the cracks because there was no process that moved them along. What did we do? We decided that having more of an all-in-one tool that would cover so many of the other areas that we need to see, we were going to work with her to create that. And that was by adding High Level as her CRM. It's a robust CRM. It does have a lot of capabilities. And we looked at it because, one, it's a very leverageable, scalable tool. And two, based on her desires and goals for her business, we knew that it would be a great tool for that because she did want to add membership. She wanted it to be a simple process to build a community. And she wanted that to be kind of in a place where she didn't have to juggle 15 different subscriptions to have these things set up. So High Level allowed her to manage all the client and prospect communication in one single place. So we had that piece. And then for coaches, its power lies in the marketing automation. She can do all her social, blogging, all of that. Those pieces are integrated inside a High Level. That's one of its superpowers. Her assistant can go in there and create the blogs. And we know that there's so much available to make it faster for us using AI. But at the same time, having these schedulers to be able to create these posts and repurpose the same exact post to put it somewhere else. There, she had like 3 different tools that she was using for that. So we were able to move her from those and maximize the tools inside a High Level because all of those tools lived in there. Building landing pages, creating multi-step emails, and SMS campaigns. She was missing out on that moneymaker. SMS, DMs, messaging, and setting up automated workflows. Just having a tool that you could message to remind people about calls was key. Her drop rate of people rescheduling or missing calls went way down once she set up the SMS messaging reminders that we had set up. Emails, text, reminders, a simple thing like reminders, which we were able to do in the automated workflows. And the thing with High Level is you have these snapshots where you as the user can create snapshots and send them to the clients where you've done all the work and laid it out and set it up, and it goes into their account already set up. And then all we have to do is fill those placeholders with their assets and their media, their content. Makes it so much simpler for the client to manage, and even after you set it up, to maintain it. And it does have a steeper learning curve. Initially, it's all-in-one nature means the coaches like her don't have to juggle multiple subscriptions, which is a huge advantage, especially for her. A lot of her savings were in removing all these subscriptions and the extra person she had hired because they were managing all these different tools that her assistant did not manage because they were all different levels of different types of tools. And that was an advantage for her because she's not super tech savvy, nor does she desire to be. She just wanted to know what she absolutely needed to know and be able to maintain what she set up. So that was the client management and nurturing. And of course, marketing automation. When I spoke about the workflows, I meant the email marketing. She had 3 different types of tools she was trying to use for email marketing. All of that is inside of High Level. We moved all those lists because she had 3 different tools she started, and the oldest tool, she didn't know how to move the people from MailChimp. So we exported all that and put them kept the tags, kept the sequences, all of that, built it out inside of marketing automation inside of High Level. And she's able to just go through those systems based on the list that she set up, and we just created the same thing over there for her. And she's able to easily maintain it, her and an assistant. No need for that third person to come in and be the tech maintenance person, because we've set it up. It can be maintained easily because we walk through an onboarding properly with walking through all the tools. And if she needs some last minute support or just some questions, we support her with that. Another game changer was Gamma. As a speaker, as a coach, she did a lot of presentations. And she was painstakingly recreating each one for these different types of events she was doing. A few of them she could just tweak the same, but so many of them she was doing over from scratch. With Gamma, it's AI powered, and it's a presentation tool that it's just out of the box. And it makes such professional, visually beautiful content with clear cut presentation and compelling and interesting. And so many different features. You can make a presentation, you can make a landing page. We made a landing page for a video sales letter for her for that. We also made a presentation that she could use in her coaching program. All of these things based on scripts she already had, outlines, we just dropped them into Gamma, and we connected some automations so that when she walked through a new outline, it would pump out that, and when it would move it over here to go back to her Google Vids and create a video over there if she wanted it for that, especially for some of her training. She had quite a few assets, so she didn't really need to build any new ones. But if you were a coach building some new assets, there's so many different tools within Google Workspace to help you with that. But Gamma is a beautiful tool for presentations. And it can generate all of the things for you, the workshop materials. You use it for your proposals, and it creates a polished branded look for you. You drop in your information, hex codes, logos, everything. And then of course, there's Zapier, which is the glue that binds all these different tools together. There's so many tools when it comes to automation, they don't naturally play together. So you have to pull these pieces together so that they work together. And Zapier does that. Code free, they set up these, if this, then that. You have your triggers and your zaps, but out, they're connected. And then the sweet spot of high level is, of course, the workflows. And the workflows work for everything from landing pages, for your lead magnets and your courses, for selling, your sales pages, automations that take the person from signing up to walking through the automation to ending up on a list to ending up to a sales page. All of those automations that will create a series of emails. She started out pretty much no automation. The only automation she really had was she had something set up in ConvertKit for when she had her speaking events. She didn't have anything set up for her coaching program she sold. She usually just did that on a book, the call with people and sold them a package that way and created an invoice and dropped it. All of that is now automated. All of it. And now with AI, you can actually bring AI in to have it set up so that you're on a sales call and you're bringing information, pulling information from the person, and it will build out a proposal for you that you can send out inside of here. Proposal's ready. It's already linked to your Stripe account or whatever payment source you use. And at the end of the sales call, when they say yes, you can send it right over to them. The AI can really be used to maximize your automation workflows. And that's one of the best things about high level is that it is super good at building workflows. And most of them are pretty much set up depending on how you sign up. When she signed up, we had all of her workflows built out for her based on things that she needed. That client journey, we mapped it out. Our team built out the snapshots inside of ours and dropped them into her. Anybody that's used high level knows it's pretty much just snapshots moving down to the clients that you can use. And from there, it's placeholders. It's really you just switching out the media assets, the copy, all of that. And so many of those things are simple once you have the automation piece. And people get intimidated by the automation. You don't have to be. The drag and drop workflow builder, the drag and drop website and landing page builder was huge. They have so many templates. They've added templates so that you can just pretty much pick and choose and then replace the information with yours. But if you don't want to go that far, you can just pick a workflow that's already that has it set up in the sites. There are so many, like we have what we call cash flow creators for the lead magnets. And then we have course creations for courses and digital products. They're already built out. We really just dropped them to clients and set up that. It made a simple, smooth process that just started with us looking at what the client had, what they desire and want to have, and mapping out what would be best, what tools will be used, and then setting them up with that. If this was at all helpful to you, make sure you subscribe or like for more information about automations, using it to maximize your business, to make more money, and to make things streamlined in your business and save more time. Thanks.